extraordinary. You know, I'm just surprised that she's only 17. She teaches me things about not just acting, but living. I think she's very generous, real gifted, and overall just a great person. So it's been a real thrill for me to work with Molly.
Uh, Excuse me.
It does to me feel like a long time ago, but it's weird. There were moments I remember like they were yesterday, scenes in the movie that I feel like, I'll maybe have a dream and I'll be doing a scene from that movie in a dream. And it feels like so immediate, but it also feels like a long time ago too.
The scripts come fast. The ideas germinate for a long time. I've had this idea since high school. I saw these sorts of things happen. I felt a lot of those things, and I know it was something that I wanted to do. For a long time, I thought about it as a boy's story, and then I thought, no, I think it'd be more interesting if I write it, having seen it as a male, write it for a female. It's also something I wrote for Molly. To finish 16 Candles, I wanted to work with her again.
I got involved in Pretty in Pink because I had a previous relationship with John Hughes. We worked on Mr. Mom together, we developed it together, and I produced it, he wrote it. By the time he started doing 16 Candles and Breakfast Club and Pretty in Pink, he just had his finger on the pulse of that age of kids and what their voice sounded like. He was totally cool, the most fun guy to hang out with in the world. And he just had a great ear. And so, yes, I think John Hughes' movies are a whole genre in and of themselves. Absolutely.
I met John Hughes in New York because I was in the business of making trailers, and I had done the trailers for him for a couple of movies, 16 Candles and Breakfast Club. He knew I wanted to direct and had written Pretty in Pink, and he let me read it. The reason I was drawn to Pretty in Pink is Pretty in Pink made me cry, and I always had trouble crying, and so I read that script and it just moved me, and I thought, if it did that to me, it should do that to other people, unless I really mess it up. I knew this was a huge break, and it was all due to John, because many people didn't want me to direct that movie. He believed in me. So it was a huge break for me, and I owe an enormous debt of gratitude to him, and still do. Now, what did he say? I guess. Okay. Thanks, Mom.
He's very open to suggestions, and he's willing to admit when he doesn't know something, which I think makes him far more intelligent than the ones that say, I'm going to do this all by myself, he listens to me, he listens to the other actors in the film.
He trusted my instincts a lot, so he would ask me how I would move in the scene, so I felt like I was very much a part of the whole blocking process. I was a part of the casting process. He would always let me do my own thing and then say, well, do this for me. It was very give and take.
Please call, please.
Yeah, Molly, anything Molly told me about her taste in terms of production design or clothing or character or anything, I listened to, because you know what? She was this person. John didn't write this in a vacuum. He wrote this about her. John was also available to Molly and me every day. He was on the set almost every day, available to me in terms of taste and guidance. It was the luckiest break for a first-time director you could have, because he was never pushy, never insisting it be his way, always open, available, and flexible. And for Molly, it was a touchstone. So she was able to let me direct her, but she was also secure because she thought, here's the guy who gave me all those great pictures, also there.
Howie's just great. Howie Deutsch, our director, is his first feature, so we often feel free to lie to him about our past ones. It's like, oh yeah, we rehearsed. We rehearse in a hot tub. This is where I'm used to rehearsing. I don't know. I think that's standard practice, and I think my trailer should be on the set. No, he's great, and he's an incredibly caring person to work with for actors.
While the movie is called a John Hughes movie because he wrote it and produced it, and it's clearly his sensibility, it was directed by Howie Deutsch, very lovely, gifted guy. John was sort of like a father figure. He would sort of breeze in, make some funny comments. We'd all go, ha ha ha, John, and then he would breeze out, and people would say, oh, is that John Hughes? I think he, having grown up a geek, always sort of wanted to be that cool guy who could breeze in and breeze out.
Howard's great. It's nice to see someone when you don't know, admit you don't know, and you find a way together. So he had a very loose hand on the brain, and yet he was very clear about what he wanted to do without in any way challenging anybody's ego or taking up space that might be threatening to anybody. And he had a very good sense of himself to not be threatened, and put his own sort of style on it.
I had gone through a lot of different DPs, cameramen. It was a big deal. I don't consider myself that visual, so I was like, I need to get a great guy. One of the first that I had interviewed was Taika Fujimoto. There was something about him, and I loved his work with Jonathan Demme, and I thought, I want to be with that guy. And the result was like, brilliant. He protected me too. You know, I didn't realize, again, being inexperienced, how much a DP with experience can protect someone in terms of schedule, the amount of work you have to do in a day. How do we get the rest of the stuff in the day without going over schedule? Even when the producers are barking and screaming and worried, he would come to my rescue. He actually taught me about how to walk into a location, a space. He taught me how to walk around, just walk around, and what do you feel? You know, it wasn't about shots with Taika Fujimoto. It was always about, does it capture the feeling in the scene that you feel, that you want?
Doesn't mean it isn't right? Doesn't mean we can't try.
That kiss, I remember that well because he wanted it more specific lighting-wise than I had ever interpreted it to him as. I wasn't sure how to stage it. And he suggested to me that they get out of the car and that the headlights of the car light them standing